Welcome back to our show, your show, Let's Talk Stocks. And joining us back in studio to continue this conversation is new chairman of the JSE, Mr. Stephen Whittingham. Stephen, welcome back. Very strong pillars on which the Stock Exchange's foundation have been built, and to continue that drive going forward. We know, and we've spoken about the market access that we've created. Jamaicans always love to dabble in hard currency investments and so on. And I know Canada now, the JSE has created that access to Jamaicans to have direct market access to Canadian securities. Are there other markets that we're looking at creating that kind of access, or even deepening what we have with the Canadian?
Yeah, so the Canadian program that we have developed, I think, is an exceptional one. It creates value for everybody, everyone involved, and I think the more opportunities we have to expand programs like that, certainly we're going to continue to look at those, and also stay on the forefront of the types of assets that are a part of the landscape in which we operate in, whether those assets are geographic in terms of like the Canadian exchange, or whether they are more esoteric in terms of like digital assets and facilitating those types of things. So the expansion, we spoke about the expansion of the customer base, and we're talking about the expansion of the product base and access to these different types of products, and that's a big part. The more that we can do to facilitate trade across our exchange, the better off all our stakeholders will be.
You touched a little bit on the collaborations between offshore in terms of Canada, Ghana, etc. And we know what some of those other markets are looking at Jamaica and Jamaica's markets. Do you think we have come to that level of maturity where we can begin to look at, and I know you mentioned digital assets and so on, where other things such as futures and so on, are we anywhere near that? Do you think our market is maturing so we can begin to look at those?
Well, I definitely think our market is maturing, and so that's the first part. I think we have a very advanced capital markets. The second thing is we have a very robust technology platform that we use to operate our exchange.
Fully fintech company.
Fully capable of operating and doing a lot of the things that you mentioned as potential products or areas of opportunity. Our platform generally has the capacity to take on these types of assets, and so those are two, I think, critical components. I think market demand is going to be another. While our capital markets has evolved and has developed over time, and I say is probably the most developed in the Caribbean, we still have to manage the risk appetite of all of the investing of the players. We also have to ensure that there's adequate regulation for all of these assets that we're talking about trading in, and that's one of the things that the stock exchange does, right? The leadership, they spend a lot of time with the FSC, with the Bank of Jamaica, with the Securities Dealers Association, with everybody, to make sure that whatever the kind of products that we're looking at facilitating, that there is a robust regulatory framework that allows us to do that. And so I think if there's if we have the technology, if we have the advanced capital markets, we have the market demand, and we have the regulation, I think we have a very exciting future ahead of us at the stock exchange.
As you talk about regulation, how satisfied are you in terms of the corporate governance structure, that the framework that has been laid out, and to see some of the companies that have listed, how they've been able to follow that framework and adapt and accept that framework as something that should be a normal part of their business.
Well, let me tell you something. We've been talking about some of the achievements of the stock exchange. The role that it has played in the development of corporate governance in our country has been absolutely tremendous, right? So if you take a look at, I have the privilege of working with the Grace Kennedy Group, which is a perennial winner of the Stock Exchange awards for corporate governance.
Yes.
And we have a long history of excellent corporate governance. Douglas Array and Don Webby,
Yes.
those pioneers
Indeed.
of corporate governance in Jamaica. They really have played a critical role in building that out. But the stock exchange, again, I keep on saying it's easy for a company like Grace Kennedy that's large and
Yes.
and has its international presence to get up and say, we want to focus on corporate governance. Whatever it costs, we're going to make sure that we have the robust structure in place. It's easy for a large company to do that, right? Easy is probably not the right word, but they can afford to do it, right?
Yes.
They can afford to allocate the resources to do it. For a small or medium-sized company on a junior market, or even for a company on the main market, that investment in corporate governance is not an easy one, right? But today, it is one that everybody believes must be done. That the general acceptance by the market about the role of corporate governance, and the JSE has played a huge role in that because of the guidelines that it has that it has put out, because of the work that it does with the various companies, and as a result, I think we have quite a generally compliant market that adheres to the kind of corporate governance principles that we expect in first world markets, and so something I'm very, very excited about.
As you talk about first world, Stephen, the change has been made recently where the JSE pretty much at the same pace as New York and other international markets that have gone to T+1 and extend the trading hours. That T+1 and how smoothly it has been done. How that makes you feel as a member of the board and now chairman.
No, it's
talking about international.
It's an amazing accomplishment, and I've watched that it come from T+3, T+2, now to T+1, and how smoothly it has occurred is really something very special. The market participants, all of the broker dealers, they've done a really good job of facilitating that and partnering with the exchange. I think the exchange has done a fantastic job in how it has communicated its messaging. And again, the technology has been a big part of what has allowed us to do that. And anything that gets us to the more seamless operation of a market is going to inure to the benefit of all its stakeholders.
Absolutely. As we look to wrap, final words as you look the way forward. What's your greatest feeling of satisfaction so far, and what's the legacy that somebody else will have to take up when Stephen ends his role as chairman?
Well, the greatest satisfaction. I've only been in the seat for less than a month now, so I can't take credit for anything. Only, as I said to you, the gratitude that I have for the other members of the board that and the confidence that they had to appoint me as chairman, and so I have taken that on with a heavy heart. And with strong will to try and ensure that I can just at least replicate some of the success that we've had in the past. In terms of the way forward, I think really putting the stock exchange on a footing for continued growth, where I think the stock exchange is at a pivotal point in terms of transitioning, and so the real focus is, ensuring that this platform that we have is robust, ensuring that it is well poised to continue to grow, and ensuring that that it continues to maintain its strong and central position in our financial markets in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, and in the world.
All right, thank you very much, Stephen. And viewers, you see, that's why he's the new chairman. You've heard him talk about everything from demutualization, the diversification of both products and membership, right through to change to T+1.
T+1.
He knows it all, and that's why he's chairman. I'm very excited about the future of the JSE in his hands. But that's why we do these programs. That's why we tell you day after day. We give you information to make better financial decisions. Come back with us tomorrow morning at 9. We'll have another insightful program lined up for you.